this is Florence Achama Pelby from faithhealthpotential.com and also She Flourishes, online Facebook community for faith-centered women who want to do more than survive their symptoms of chronic illness and who want to start living and thriving according to God's plan for an abundant life. Okay, so this week we were exploring the whole idea of blame, and I posted in my Facebook group a really funny video that kind of encapsulates what it means to be a blamer. So really taking opportunities, any opportunity in our everyday life, no matter how big or small, to point the finger at somebody else and say, this happened to me because you didn't or did X, Y, Z. Now the truth is that we all blame. We all blame. But it's important to be able to recognize that there are problems with blaming, because when we can recognize that there are problems with blaming and what blaming actually means, then actually we can move forward and we can heal. And today I kind of just want to focus on that, what it means to heal when we move past blame. So one thing that the lady in the video spoke about, she basically said that blame is the discharge of anger and pain. And I'm just going to say that again. Blame is the discharge of anger and pain. So we're basically spewing out anger and blame and anger and pain when we are coming from a place of blame. When you think about it, when somebody blames someone else for something, they are usually doing it because they feel that somehow that person has let them down and caused something bad to happen in their lives. Okay, so if you are blaming somebody for something, it's because you feel that they've let you down in some way. You feel that maybe they haven't defended you, protected you, supported you, been there for you. You feel let down and vulnerable and fragile, and a weakness is exposed in you, and we don't like that. We don't like that at all. And so there's a need to point the finger and say, actually, this is like this because of you. If you had done X, Y, Z, then I wouldn't have to be in this situation. I wouldn't have to deal with this. I wouldn't have to feel like that, or whatever it is. But the truth is that, there's that famous thing, when you point at somebody, don't forget the other 3 fingers are actually pointing back to you. The truth is that, we are also responsible for things that happen to us in our lives. So when we think about blame, we are putting all the responsibility on somebody else, okay? And that means that we are making ourselves a victim. And the Bible says clearly that, God has given us a spirit of power and that he has given us authority. So when we make ourselves victims, we are going against that. And it means that we're saying, actually, we don't have any control. We don't have any power. We don't have any authority. Okay? So we're really limiting ourselves in that way. But also, another thing that I've realized is that it's easier to blame somebody else than it is to take responsibility ourselves. Because, again, like I mentioned, generally what these situations where we point at other people, what they do is they bring up our weaknesses, our areas of perceived weaknesses, our vulnerabilities, our flaws, our insecurities, the things that make us fragile. So instead of pointing a finger at somebody else and saying, it's because of you that I feel this way, if we were to turn round and take responsibility for the way that we feel, then we would also have to own those feelings as well. And that can be really difficult to do. That can put us in a really difficult place, because that means that we have to sit with those painful emotions and what can come up, feelings of being unworthy, feelings of being wrong, feelings of being inferior. And that comes with a whole load of drama and stress as well. So it makes it a lot easier for us to point at other people. But the major issue here is that blame isn't the same as taking responsibility. So it's not a choice between who's going to take the blame here. Am I going to blame this other person, or am I going to blame myself? Okay, because blame is again about victimization, but it's also about self-condemnation as well. If you're pointing the finger at yourself, it's about really saying to yourself, this is all your fault. You're silly, you're foolish, you can't do anything right. If it wasn't for the mistakes that you made, then you wouldn't be in this situation. You can't even look after yourself, you can't even protect yourself, and all that kind of toxic language and thoughts that come out when we feel that we have to step up and take responsibility for whatever it is that has happened. But that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Taking responsibility isn't the same as blaming yourself for something that has happened. And I honestly feel that a lot of the women that, a lot of the people actually, that I have come into contact with, and I know that, this has been something that has been challenging for me as well, suffer with self-condemnation. They are the first people to think really negatively about themselves, and so it makes it hard for them to move forwards and accept themselves and really love themselves, because they have to deal with that inner critic. And so it's a lot easier to discharge and be angry at somebody else and discharge and project and to really project that pain onto somebody else, as the person who has caused that pain, when it's really things that are happening inside of you that you are angry about, things that happen inside of you that is causing you pain and discomfort. So in my upcoming training program, what I am doing is I'm going to be tackling and looking at things just like this, which block our ability to step into the power that God has given us, to really apply and move in that spirit of power and that authority that He has given us, so that we can experience the life that He has promised. There is so much that we hold on to unnecessarily, but because of things that have happened in us, in our past, experiences that we've had, the way that we view ourselves, it becomes really difficult to heal and flourish and thrive. But God is saying no more, no more. It's time to let those things go, to move forwards and embrace the life that He has created you to live. Okay, so my invitation for you today is that if you want to find out more about this training program, then please contact me, PM me, or leave a comment. You can go to my website again, www.faithhealthpotential.com/contact, and you can send me a message and we'll discuss how you can find out more about this program, because it's going to be really powerful. And yeah, that's it, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Shift. Take care.